Arrays are an incredibly useful tool. However, they come with some limitations. If you haven't noticed by now, when you first make an array, you have to pick the size. And once you pick the size of the array, there's no changing it. This makes things pretty difficult once you have a dynamic set of information coming in and out of your data structure. What if you aren't sure how many things are going to be in it eventually? Also, because of arrays' strict nature of one thing scheduled right after the other, if you want to say insert something into the middle of the array, well, you've got to make room for it, meaning you've got to shift everything else further down the array. Wouldn't it be nice if there existed a data structure that has all of the easy access and organization of an array, but all the flexibility that you're looking for? Meet the list. The list is an ordered sequence of elements, just like an array. However, it has added functionality to let it grow and shrink and insert into the middle of it without you having to do any shifting or things like that. You can even remove from the inside of it. The first type of list, as there are many types of lists in Java, is the array list. The array list stores information within an array, but gives you this added functionality. How convenient. Here's some comparisons to using an array list versus a basic array. With a basic array, you're going to start with the type and then a set of angular brackets and then how long it is. Whereas with an array list, you just need to know what's the type of information you're going to store in it, and then you make a new one because it'll grow and shrink as you need. No need to pass in a length. In order to add a value in the array, you had to go through and find, hey, where's the next place that I can put this? So if it was all filled with zeros, where's the next zero? In the array list, you can just say .add and then put in whatever you want to be in the array list. It knows where the next space is. You can also get out an element just like you would in an array using an index. Array lists maintain indexes for each of the elements just like an array. Start counting at 0 and counting up by 1 all the way through until the end of the array list. There is something a little bit funny about array lists. You have to pass in the type of information it's going to store as a parameter, as opposed to just putting the type in angular brackets. The way that you do that is with the word array list, capital A, capital L, and then angular brackets, and then inside those angular brackets, the type that you're going to fill this array list with. And this works perfect for objects. But what about primitives? Unfortunately, you can't just have an array list of int because array list needs some information about something in order to function properly, and ints don't have the appropriate information. So you're going to use what's called a wrapper class, which is literally just the most simple class you can imagine that stores just an int inside of it. To keep it easy on you, it's called the integer object, capital I. The same exists for double, capital D, and character, capital C. Array lists come with a huge array of methods to make your life easier. Not only can you add at the very end, but you could add a specific index. So say you're searching through and you're like, hey, I want this to be right in the middle. You can say which index you want that thing to be at, and then it'll automatically shift everything to the back for you. You can also clear the array. You can get out individual things. You can also search through the array. Maybe you're looking for a specific word, but you don't know what index it's at. That's what the index of method is for. It'll find it for you, and then it'll return back wherever that thing is. You can also remove and set at a specific index, so it has all the functionality of an array, plus more. There are lots of different interpretations of different lists, but the array list is incredibly powerful. So how does the array list work? Essentially, it's an array inside of a class that's really, really big, meaning it doesn't think you're going to use the whole length of the array. And then it has a second variable, the size, and it's always maintaining these two things. So it starts out with this big array and you put two things in it and knows there's two things in the array. So if you try to .add, it's going to put a third thing in the list at index 2, zero-based indexing. As it goes through and adds and removes, it's adding and removing them into the construct that is an array, but maintaining the size variable so that it knows exactly where you are in your data and how to properly process it. Chances are it's going to be good practice for you to actually implement an array list of your own, at least of a specific type of data. But once you've got the hang of it, you don't need to worry about it anymore. Java takes care of it for you. And array lists are going to be one of the best tools you have for all of your programs.